The other day, I sat down with one of my friends for a financial coaching call, and by the end of the hour, I'd helped him make an extra $100,000 before he retired. And that's not clickbait. If anything, that's actually an underestimate. So if you give me just 5 minutes of your time, I'll explain the change we made, what you can learn, and the huge financial mistake that is surprisingly common, even though it's so easy to fix. And if you have no idea who I am or why you should listen to me, I'm Charles. I'm trying to retire before I turn 30 years old, and I make these YouTube videos to help other people retire early too. A lot of people have to work into their 60s, and I don't want you to be one of them. And I literally give away everything I know for free, but I also do financial coaching calls to help people with their specific situations. This call with my friend, who we'll call Ed, was one of those calls. But this wasn't actually our first time meeting. In an earlier meeting, I'd helped him create a Roth individual retirement account, or Roth IRA. I'm a huge fan of these accounts because they let your investments grow completely tax-free. But it was in our second meeting that I realized my friend Ed was making a huge mistake, and fixing it could make him an extra $100,000. So let me explain the change we made and how you can make sure you aren't making the same mistake. Most of you probably have a checking account and maybe a savings account too. These are important accounts to have, but they are not good long-term investment options. I mean, a checking account doesn't pay you anything. Your money is just sitting there. A savings account is a little bit better, but even so, your money is still losing value because of inflation. But here's the problem. When you transfer money to an investment account, like a 401k or a Roth IRA, the same thing is happening. If you want your money to actually make more money, you have to choose your investment options. After that, your money will own real companies and will hopefully start to increase in value. But this step is what my friend Ed hadn't done. He'd started to transfer money after our last conversation, but he hadn't invested any of it. That sounds so simple, but you'd be surprised at how many people screw it up. So before I show you how to make sure that you aren't making the same mistake yourself, let me show you just how powerful this change can be. Over the last 150 years or so, the stock market has returned about 7% per year, even after adjusting for inflation. And this year, the contribution limit to a Roth IRA for people under 50 years old is $7,000. And unlike me, my friend Ed is not planning on early retirement. And that means he could be working for another 40 years. If you invested $7,000 today and earned a 7% return on your investment for 40 years, you would have over $100,000. So by making this one change, my friend Ed should have an extra $100,000 when he retires. And that's just 1 year of investments. If he continued to invest $7,000 per year for that entire time period, he could have an extra $1 million just from investment gains. But if Ed hadn't fixed this, he'd have $1 million less. So how do you make sure that you aren't making the same mistake? Go into your investment accounts and scroll down to your portfolio summary. If a large amount of your money is in short-term reserves, then you're making the same mistake. That money is just sitting there waiting for you to invest it. And even if you did invest when you first transferred your money, you should still check this. If you didn't set up your accounts to automatically reinvest dividends, you could be building up money that isn't getting invested. But look, all of this ties into a much bigger point that I wanted to make. Only 25% of Americans have a Roth IRA in the first place, and that means 75% of Americans are missing out on free tax benefits. And this issue isn't even limited to Roth IRA accounts. 25% of Americans aren't getting their full employer match on their 401k, which is basically leaving free money on the table. These things might seem small, but they aren't. Especially if you're early in your career, these small mistakes could add up to tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even more, over the course of your career. So whenever I meet with my coaching clients, I love to find these easy wins. It's more money for zero work. My friend Ed didn't have to stop buying things he enjoys or pick up a side hustle or anything like that, but he'll be $100,000 wealthier just because he's actually investing now. And if you want to get help reaching your financial goals, there's a link in the description to book some time with me. And the whole reason that all of this is so important is because investing is just insanely powerful. Again, Ed's investment of $7,000 could turn into $100,000 over the course of his career. So if you want to see why investing is so powerful and how it can make you insanely wealthy, you need to watch this video right here.